With the release of Shaman from Distant Rivals, everyone, including myself, thought that Zoroark EX would be dead now. Well, someone actually got top 8 at NEIC and has a pretty interesting list, so let's check it out. For the people who don't know what Zoroark does, Zoroark has a very strong ability trait that allows you to discard a card from your hand, and if you do, draw 2 cards, and its attack, Night Joker, for 2 darkness energies, allows you to copy a bench ends Pokemon as attack. This build only plays a 1/1 Darmanitan and 2 copies of Reshiram, since a lot of decks do play Shaman. And since this build is more focused around Reshiram, it's also designed to tank a little bit more, hence why we play Rigid Band. Rigid Band says the stage 1 Pokemon this card is attached to receives 30 less damage from an opponent's attack. Zoroark has some pretty strong attacks it can copy, like Powerful Rage, Virtuous Flame, as well as Flame Body Cannon. Powerful Rage does 20 damage times the amount of damage counters on this Pokemon, Virtuous Flame does a flat 170, and Flame Body Cannon does 90 to the active and 90 to a bench Pokemon, but you do have to discard all energy. If you're up against evolving decks like Gardevoir, Grimmsnarl, Dragapult, trying to set up a Darmanitan is probably still a pretty good idea. Not every deck plays Shaman, and that ability to snipe the active and hit a bench Pokemon is very strong. Against Gardevoir you can use Virtuous Flame to take a one-hit KO on Gardevoir through Zoroark of course, and against Dragapult and Grimmsnarl they're most likely not able to one-shot your Zoroark, most of the time dealing around 200 damage, and then you can smack back with Powerful Rage dealing upwards of 540 damage. If you're up against something like Raging Bolt, setting up a Darmanitan is also pretty good, since you really want to hit a 2-mask Ogerpon with Darmanitan and take out a Hoothoot or Fanrotom in the process. Always make sure you have a couple Zoroark EX in play, since it's not only your draw engine, but also of course your main attacker. Most likely you want to close out the game through Ursaluna EX, since of course Ursaluna is a very strong late game attacker. This deck does play a couple tech cards. Black Belt's Training, for example, increases your damage output by your Pokemon with 40 if you hit your opponent's Pokemon EX. Counter Catcher, of course, is also very strong. If you run on prize cards, allows you to gust down an item. Like I just mentioned, Rigid Band is also a pretty cool tech card, since it reduces the damage received by Zoroark by 30. Munkidori is also very good against all the top evolving decks, since they all tend to spread damage. So setting up a couple Munkidoris is pretty good. A TM Devo, which is a pretty interesting tech card. I'm not entirely sure what the Devo is for. I'm guessing just against stage 2 decks to slow them down. I'm not entirely sure, but Devo is also in here. Our ace spec is Secret Box. Secret Box says that you have to discard 3 cards from your hand, and if you do, it allows you to search your deck for every type of trainer once, so a Pokemon tool, an item, a supporter, and a stadium card. I think Secret Box for this deck makes a whole lot of sense, but I do encourage you to try out a couple other ace packs, since a lot of ace packs can be cool or good in Zoroark. I personally really enjoy Heroescape, but Prime Catcher is also very strong, so try out a couple different ones if you're not feeling the Secret Box. And for my personal favorite tech, E-Switch. E-Switch allows you to switch an energy from one Pokemon to another, so using it in combination with Ents PP Up to attach to a non-Ents Pokemon or to the active is, in my opinion, brilliant. Full list will be on screen right now. We're only playing 1 Reversal Energy. Pre-Shaman we did play 2 because of Darmanitan, but now that we rely more on Reshiram than Darmanitan, we're only playing 1. Before we go into our first match, if you want to see a deck or card reviewed in my next episode of You Name It and I Play It, let me know down below what card or deck that might be, and maybe I'll check it out in my next episode. Alright, and with that, let's get into our first match. Looks like we both had a mulligan. It also looks like we're playing against Marnie's Grimmsnarl. Our opponent will be going first, I believe. Yeah. Our hand is just really bad. Really bad. We have a Cyrano and a Ciphermaniac. Okay, their hand is also really bad. That's not any better. That's Cyrano. They conceded, bruh. Alright. Well, yeah. Let's go into our next match. Alright, looks like we are going second. We have a Zorua, a Artisan, a Cyrano, and this hand is not that much better. We are playing against... That is a Toadscruel. Toadscruel is not that annoying for us. At least the single prize isn't. Let's Artisan. We are playing against Hydreigon, by the way, which is, I think, like, not that bad of a matchup. Let's get Zorua. Let's attach an energy to the bench Zorua. Should we play Cyrano already? Get the EXs in hand. Opens up a couple more plays for the next turn, so let's do this. And let's just pass. We also could have gotten Cleffa with Artisan, but then we'd only draw, if we didn't play Cyrano, a couple cards. I don't think it's ever worth it to do that. Since if they knock out the Zorua, yeah, what are we gonna do then? They get a Hoot Hoot, they get another Hoot Hoot. We're gonna play Crispin. Do they have Rare Candy Hydreigon? That's the real question, I guess. They attach a Darkness to the active. They might have it. Or they're just gonna bite. That would be kind of crazy. They're gonna stomp off. Okay. Well, there goes Ursaluna. Let's draw for turn. There's an energy. Okay, so we should first Artisan. Get another Zorua. Or should we get Darumaka, actually? Darumaka is also pretty good. Let's get Darumaka. Let's evolve. Let's use trade, discard Cyrano. Ciphermaniac. That's good. Let's use Ciphermaniac. Let's get a Stadium. And what more? Maybe just a Poffin to get more Zoroarks. Yeah, also thin deck just a little like this. I think this is fine. Let's place this on top. We should have gotten an energy. Well, oh no, we have an energy attached. Okay, so I wasn't looking at it wrong. Okay, discard this. We probably should have still gotten an energy. Well, now we at least have an extra Zorua. I don't know, maybe this was correct. Let's do this. Let's play NSPP up. Castle. And I just now realized that I forgot that we didn't have a Reshiram. Alright, let's retreat into this guy. And let's flare for 50. Yeah, okay. I forgot that we didn't have Reshiram. Yeah. And they now probably have Hydreigon. There's Counter Gain, there's Terra Orb. Terra Orb for... That was the back of a card. Hydreigon EX, yep, there goes Red Candy. Okay, so if they Obsidian, that would be pretty unfortunate. Darumaka and Zoroark. At the same time, if they Obsidian, I still think that we are okay. Since we already have 2 Zoroarks established, they're only taking 2 prize cards. I think we should be fine. If they Crashing Headbutt, then we're definitely fine. Then we just knock out their Hydreigon. They're just gonna Crashing Headbutt. Okay, let's see what they discard. They discard a Rigid Band, an Energy Pal Pad. I can live with those cards getting discarded. Let's evolve this. Let's trade away the Fez. Draw 2. Munkidori. That's also pretty good. Let's trade away Defiance Band. Cleffa, trade away Cleffa. Darmanitan, sure. We could Night Stretcher back an energy, attach the energy to Munkidori. Now we probably want to attach it to Zoroark. Since we do need an attack somewhere in this game. An attack, yeah, and a second attacker. Let's Night Joker. We didn't have Reshiram. Yeah. Worst part is I couldn't even got Reshiram, so wow, okay. Then Flame Body Cannon, I guess. That's KO Hoot Hoot. This is kind of cringe. This is kind of cringe. Not only did I forget we didn't have Reshiram, we also didn't have a way to get Reshiram, and we didn't see a Reshiram. Wow, okay. Even with seeing 7 cards, including our top deck, we still didn't find any way to just see, to find a Reshiram, or we didn't, yeah, okay, bruh, I guess. Obsidian isn't good. Oh, it is good because Zoroark is already in range. They can knock out this, knock out this, I mean. Yeah, put damage on that. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And still, without Reshiram, this position is just insanely bad. Okay. Turo, that's still not a Reshiram. We can Night Stretcher for Fezandipiti. I think we first trade away the Zoroark, since I need to know if Iono. Guess I'm gonna trade away an Iono first. I don't think I need Black Belt in this match. No, maybe for Fez, so. PP up. Now it's kind of unfortunate that we didn't have Stadium in play. I don't think there's anything left, yeah. We price double Reshiram, okay. Well, that explains a lot. Oh man, you gotta be kidding me. We priced double Reshiram, I didn't notice. Night Stretcher for Fez, double PP up to the bench, pray for a Stadium. Let's Night Stretcher, let's get an energy. I need to attack this turn. Oh wait, we can just draw into an energy since we are... Yeah, we're just gonna draw into an energy. Saying it right now. Let's PP up the bench. Zoroark. Probably want to PP up twice. Let's Iono. Yeah, we need to find a counter catcher and an energy. I want to KO the Hoot Hoot as well as the Dino. Castle is good. Energy. We have Fez. We have Secret Box. I think we are there. Or no, we are definitely there. Let's bench Munkidori. No. Let's counter catcher up. Dino. Let's. We could actually. No, Devo isn't good here since they get access to Noctowl again. No, they don't, but no, I'm not gonna Devo. Maybe Devo is actually the play here, actually. I think I'm just gonna go for it. I think I'm gonna go for the Devo play. Yeah, sure. Let's TM Devo. Let's take a knockout on Hydreigon. We're only taking one prize, but since we are on all prize, that's fine. Dino's gonna get knocked out. They don't have an energy. Of course, they will have a Noctowl on hand, but they don't have a Terra Pokemon in play just yet. And they don't have a Hydreigon that is able to Obsidian, and also not one that is fully charged. So I think this was a pretty good play overall. We still didn't find a Reshiram. Even with 2 in the prize cards, we didn't find a Reshiram. They also play Terrapagos. Okay, of course, they do. And they also have Nesbel to find that. Sure. Yeah, then this turn it's just Ciphermaniac, get Counter Catcher again, retreat into this Zoroark, Counter Catcher up Hoothoot or Dino, and just knock out the Hoothoot and the Dino again. So, and then we take 2 prize cards, they swing, we tank, we run, and if they get Obsidian, they win the turn after. If they don't, Shaman, bruh. Well, then I'm not sure there's even a way for us to win. Huh. How would we play this? The discard 3 is actually pretty annoying here. I'm seriously not sure how we win this. Let's play Ant's Castle. I guess Poffin to see what's in deck. Maybe Turo, Rigid Bend, Munkidori, but then we're still not hitting for enough damage to do anything. So we would have to counter catcher up with something, attach a Rigid Band. Then they just go in with Zoroark again, or into our Zoroark again. Cypher. We need to take a prize card here, so. Trade. Attach Rigid Band. I don't think we're going to use Secret Box since I don't want to discard 3 cards as well as 4, so. Maybe do this. Now do I want to hit the knock with a Hoothoot or Shaman? Shaman, Adrenabrain, all the damage. Night Joker, Flame Body Cannon. Doesn't matter. So yeah, we're just gonna take 1 prize. If they swing back with Crashing Headbutt, we need to find Reshiram here. Okay, we finally effing found Reshiram. Thank God. Alright, they have 2 cards in hand. Not sure what those are. Area 0. That's slightly annoying, I guess. Yeah, that is pretty darn annoying. They're gonna get a Iono 3. I know there's another Turo in deck, so Turo is pretty good. We can knock out the Toadscruel. Okay, this turn we only need to find a Turo, and I think we just win. They can't Hydreigon, so they can't Obsidian. I think they can't Obsidian, so we should be fine. So Munkidori should be in play. So we only need to find Turo. I think the next card should be. Oh Oh wait, he just discarded Turo. Man, you gotta be kidding. Yeah. We're just gonna lose by deck out. Oh, that's so stupid. Okay. I guess Adrenabrain onto this guy. Doesn't matter though. Wait. Do you have an energy in deck? But then, oh no, I should have moved up the damage from the other one. You gotta be kidding me. Nah, not like this. And we still whiffed. The last card in deck is an energy. Bruh, you gotta be kidding me. That is so stupid. Well, that's GG's, I guess. Yeah, that's stupid. I completely didn't see the play. I not only forgot about Energy Switch, I also didn't know it was in the prize cards and I could draw it. If I knew I could have drawn it, then I of course would have moved from the bench Zoroark. But at the same time, did they use Flip the Script? What? Huh? Oh, this guy. Okay, I was like, wait, is this game glitching or what? Alright. Well, they're taking 2 knockouts. I actually didn't knock out the Zoroark. I shouldn't have benched the Reshiram, but okay. Wait, we still win this? How did we? Right, okay. Well, I not only completely, I thought it'd be lost. Okay, not only did I misplay, we don't have Reshiram. This is such a horrible match. Oh my god, what am I doing? I could have won it anyway, though. This is like the worst match I've ever played. I'm actually okay. I am recording this pretty early in the morning, and I'm pretty darn tired. And I just find it so funny every time that I think, oh wait, this is it. I forget I don't have Reshiram, and every time I think this is it, I lose. I just noticed my opponent has 3. Okay. Oh my fucking god, this is so stupid. Well, I think we lost now. Yeah, I should drink some coffee. This is horrendous. Alright. Alright, I had 1 mulligan. We are going first. We have a pretty, somewhat decent hand. We have Reshiram, we have Munkidori. Don't have an energy. Don't have, maybe I should have actually promoted Reshiram. Because Castle probably would have been the correct play. That's a Ho-Oh Armoroost. That's pretty interesting. Okay. That's an energy. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's bench Reshiram. Let's bench Munkidori. Let's attach an energy here, and we just pass. We have an Iono for next turn, which is pretty good. Hopefully find Zoroark, as well as an energy. And then we just swing with, on the, I guess, Torchic? I guess? I guess? They're gonna get a Blaziken EX. Attach an energy to Torchic. And they're just gonna pass it over. Alright. We draw. There's Zorua, Iono. Hopefully find an energy in a Zoroark. that's not an energy, and I also don't see any Zoroark. Scratch for 20, yeah. We do have Siren over next turn though, but still, no energy, no PP up, no nothing. Gonna play... They play Ethan's Adventure, bench the Cyndaquil, attach some energy. They're gonna Golden Flames, attach 2 basic fire energy cards from your hand to one of your benched Ethan's Pokemon. A pretty good ability. I think a Ho-Oh Armor Rouge deck actually got a top 64, so that's pretty cool. They're gonna scratch for 30, they also have nothing. Ciphermaniac is actually not that good. Let's just Cyrano here. 3 Zoroark. Evolve. Evolve. Let's use trade, discard. Fez. No, let's discard Cyrano. Draw 2, there's an energy, that's pretty good. Trade again, discard Fez. Nah, you know, discard Defiance Band is probably correct. I don't think it actually is. I think it's correct. Sure, let's... Let's discard Zoroark. Draw 2, energy, and a PP up, that's pretty good. Attach an energy. Let's use Night Joker for Regi's Flame. And take a knockout. Yeah, pretty decent. No Darumaka, which I would have preferred to see this turn. Or Darmanitan. Of course, if you play more heavily Reshiram build, you're not really relying on Darmanitan as much as you did previously, but it is what it is. They're going to promote Ethan's Ho-Oh, so they will not be able to attack with Ho-Oh this turn. Unless they play, like, Crispin or something. Probably, yeah, they're probably just gonna go into the... Oh, there's cool lava, so that means they don't have Typhlosion. I do gotta say, I've played some games with Zoroark in this format off camera, and I gotta say, I do really believe that it's a pretty good deck still. I do really think the deck is here to stay, at least as like a unpopular, pretty good semi-meta deck. Yeah, it sounds really weird, but I think the deck is definitely good enough to be meta. I don't think it's a rogue deck at all, but I just think it's not going to be as popular, and I don't think that many players are going to pick up Zoroark, especially now that Shaman is here. So if you want to play Zoroark just because you think Zoroark is cool, or you like the deck, it is a pretty good deck. So if you want to play the deck, just play the deck. Yeah, in my opinion, it's a pretty good deck. So at least try it out, you know. They're gonna get a Ethan's Adventure. They're gonna counter Catcher up something. They're gonna counter Catcher up Reshiram. We have a Turo in hand. This is They're gonna attach an energy to Ho-Oh. And that's their turn. Alright, so let's draw for turn. I actually want to just use a stadium for this. That would be so much better. Let's see if we can find it. Trade away an Artisan. Secret box. Okay, so we do actually get there. Let's do this. Let's get Castle, the Rigid Band, Iono. No, let's get a Ciphermaniac and Buddy-Buddy. Let's put Ant's Castle into play. Retreat into Zoroark. Rigid Band. Touch and energy to Munkidori. Black Belt's training. Adrenabrain off the damage. And after we play Buddy-Buddy Poffin, if we swing with Night Joker, with Virtuous Flame for 170, we will be able to take the knockout, since Black Belt's training increases our damage by 40. So we are taking a knockout on the Ho-Oh. That is why Black Belt's training is a very good card in Zoroark. Yeah, it's just a very good card in general. But yeah, so I think no matter what, we are going to win this match. Like I said, I do really like Zoroark. It is a very fun and cool deck. Alright, they're going to play an Ethan's Adventure. They're probably just going to get a Typhlosion here and a Cyndaquil, I'm guessing. Gonna get 2 energy in a Ho-Oh, that's also like fine. Maybe they don't play a Typhlosion. I don't know, maybe this is the starter deck or something. Not sure. They're gonna evolve into Typhlosion, so they will have a Typhlosion. So they're gonna Buddy Blast 130. Getting Bulbasaur's now would be pretty good, just to take out the Ho-Oh. Let's trade away Darumaka. Draw 2. There's the Cyrano. Just gonna discard the Cyrano. Don't really need it. Draw 2. There's an Iono. Let's Adrenabrain 30 onto the Ho-Oh. And let's Night Joker, Virtuous Flame, or Powerful Rage, and let's just knock it out. I know we could have played Iono, but I think this is just fine. Let's just hope we find a boss's orders for this turn. I don't know if we actually have another boss. I think we should have 2 more in deck. I don't think, yeah, we didn't play 1, so we should have 2 more in deck. Boss's orders next turn would just win the game. We can see at least 4 cards, 5 with our draw for turn. With 22 cards in deck, that's roughly a 25% chance, like 22-ish. Around like 20, maybe 23% chance of finding it. So I do like our odds. We also, of course, can draw into another Zoroark, and then we can see 2 more cards. So, and they just concede. Alright, well, that will be our final match. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure if you did, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Yeah, like I said, if you want to play Zoroark, definitely go ahead and play it. I think it's a really good, underrated meta deck right now. It is less good than it was previously. You just have to adjust to how the deck works now. Yeah, it's just a little bit more heavy on the Reshiram. But if you get used to that, I do think it's a pretty good deck. I also think trying out Heroescape or trying out different aspects for this deck is really important, since Zoroark is a pretty versatile card and can be played in a lot of ways. Alright, with that, if you want to see a card in my next episode of You Name It and I Play It, let me know down below what that might be. And if you want to see the most insane spread deck, check out this video right here. And I'll see you there. Peace.